The second trailer for Bumblebee, the spin-off Transformers movie focusing primarily on Bumblebee, dropped earlier this week, and a couple days later, I think it was actually the next day, the international trailer dropped. So I'm going to break both those trailers down for you guys. But before I get into those trailers, I do want to apologize for the lack of uploads. It's been a crazy summer. This is actually the first video since the 5th of July. I know we did a live stream later in July celebrating our 2 years on YouTube, but the 5th of July was the last actual video, not live stream. So that was technically the last video, and that was just a play along to a movie trivia Schmodown episode, which was a lot of fun, don't get me wrong. I love doing those. I kind of miss doing those. I want to keep doing those. I want to keep doing YouTube videos, but it's been a crazy summer, and I'll get to it at the end of the video if you really want to know what's been going on. But without further ado, let's get into this trailer. The trailer starts out with a shot of the Golden Gate Bridge, and I gotta wonder, you know, every movie that is set around San Francisco and the Golden Gate Bridge is shown, the climax of the movie typically takes place on the Golden Gate Bridge. We always see this bridge destroyed in like every movie. X-Men 3, Godzilla, we see that bridge destroyed there. Several other movies, I can't quite think off the top of my head, but there's a lot of movies where the Golden Gate Bridge gets destroyed, and I have a feeling that eventually at some point this bridge might have an action scene on it. I hope not. I hope they just stay away from that cliche, but I won't be surprised. The beginning of this trailer, the music sounds really like subtle, epic, and just hopeful, but the shots just remind me of the very first Transformers trailers where Shia LaBeouf is like going to get a car and with his dad, and I don't know, it's way too similar to that, and there's some red flags that are going up for that. So I have this feeling when she goes and talks to this old man about the Beetle being for sale, I have a feeling that she's gonna be like, he's gonna be kind of a grumpy old man and be like, no, you have to work here for like a year or two in order to get this car, and then I'll give it to you. You just had to put in all the time. And I don't think it's going to be like, it's my birthday, I'm 18, can I have the car? It's yours, kid. I don't think it's going to be like that, unless he doesn't even know where the car came from, because it is Bumblebee, we know that. But if you do pay attention, she is wearing a denim vest in the shots that she's uncovering Bumblebee, and in the shots that she's talking to the old man, and when she turns on Bumblebee, the car, she's wearing this black shirt and all this, I don't know, she's dressed differently. So there is a time change somewhere in there. She's not wearing the same clothes, and this is a different day at least. Maybe the next day, maybe months or a year later, who knows. So we've seen all this stuff with Bumblebee transforming in the garage. There is a couple new additions to this scene, but I mean, they're nice. I like the close-up of the hand transforming, that's cool, but we've seen it. Now, I don't know if I pointed this out in the last trailer breakdown, but if you look closely at this shot of Bumblebee kind of landing from a really big jump or whatever, he's obviously not his Volkswagen Beetle form. He's like a Jeep or a Humvee, but on his back there's tires, but they're shredded. It looks like he's just got out of a battle. So we'll have to see how that goes. Obviously, it doesn't really go that well for him because he's kind of damaged. So now she has a boyfriend, or just a friend that's a guy, and in the next scene, he's shirtless for some reason. Like, what's going on here? Did Bumblebee have to break something up, or what? I don't know, but it looks like a fun scene. You know, they're just driving around with Bumblebee, you know, having fun, being teenagers. I love the music in this trailer so far. It's really nice and hopeful. Okay, so I know this is really nitpicky, but in this shot in the woods, Bumblebee is not casting a shadow on the ground, or at least not one that I can see. He should be casting a darker shadow in front of him because the sun is coming from behind them. Obviously, it's unfinished effects, but you know, it'll look great in the final film probably. So John Cena is in this movie, of course. He's the new Mark Wahlberg. You know, they got the big neck, muscular guy. He's trying to be the next Rock, which is fine. You know, I haven't seen him in any of his other movies that he's been in yet, John Cena. But I hope he'll be good in this movie. We'll just have to wait and see. He plays, I think, Agent Burns. He's a Sector 7 agent, and it'll just be interesting to see how he how he does in this movie. I love all the transformations that we're getting so far. You see where all the pieces are going. However, I do have to say, in this shot on the beach, it does look like there's some mass shifting. Like his door kind of folds and then it looks like it shrinks a little bit to go into place. It's a nitpick, I know. I like the fact that when he transforms, sand gets blown up onto Charlie's head and she's got sand all on her hair and Bumblebee's trying to get it out. It's a cute scene. It looks like it might get a little annoying. Like he's a kid. He just doesn't know what, I don't know. He just doesn't get social cues, I guess. I don't know. It's a cute scene. It might be a little too cute for the movie, but again, we'll have to wait and see. It's not Michael Bay, it's Travis Knight that's directing this, so the humor, I think, will be a little better, I hope. I don't know. I've never actually seen a Travis Knight film. I know all those movies. I think Coraline. I haven't seen Kubo and the Two Strings yet. I really want to see that. I want to see that before this movie comes out. Just so I kind of know what to expect. I know they're completely different movies, but I still want to see it before this movie comes out. And here we get a look at Shatter and Dropkick. They're triple changers. They have their helicopter and a jet, and then they transform into cars, and then they transform into their robot forms. I think that is awesome. And honestly, I can't wait to see them, at least. I think it's going to be cool. It's a smaller movie with 2 villains. It looks like 3 villains eventually because it looks like there's a Starscream in this movie. I still think it's Starscream. The IMDb page has him listed as Blitzwing. I still really hope it's Starscream. I mean, the color scheme, the face, everything about that character looks like Starscream. The original Starscream. And if they're going with the original designs, make it Starscream. But I love the fact that they are kind of trying to work with the humans. They're basically saying there's a war raging on our planet. If this criminal isn't found, basically we're going to kill you guys. And that's what I like. The way that they did it in Transformers The Last Night was kind of the opposite of this, where the humans went to Megatron for help. And he's like, I want my crew. In Suicide Squad fashion, we got a whole stupid scene. I hated that scene. I thought it was a decent idea had they developed those characters in previous movies. Then it would have been like, okay, that's kind of cool. Hey, welcome to these characters again. But these were brand new characters that they were introducing. Like, when were these people a part of Megatron's crew? I hate that. Okay, anyway, I still like the fact that they are working with the humans, and the humans have to try and hunt down Bumblebee, and because these Decepticons are threatening them. I think it's cool. Cybertron looks absolutely amazing. Now, this does not at all look like the Cybertron from the Michael Bay movies. This looks like the 80s Cybertron, which... uh-oh, looking out at the Golden Gate Bridge again. You never know. It could be a big fight scene that half destroys that bridge, like every other movie. Again, this transformation to me looks like there's a lot of mass shifting going on. Yes, the parts are folding around, but it looks like they kind of go whoop, and I don't know. His hood especially looks like it shrinks to fit on his chest. Maybe I'm just looking into it too much. It's still cool, but it does look like mass shifting. Like, I know that it's fine. They did a lot of mass shifting in the cartoons, but they kind of swore to not do mass shifting to make it look like everything has a place to go and that the same mass from the car is in the robot. I can get past that, but it's still like, this is metal. It's not organic stuff that can shrink, like skin can shrink or stretch. Metal cannot do that in its hardened state. I watch a lot of Forged in Fire. I love that show. I do think that this movie's going to have a lot of one-on-one conversations with Bumblebee and Charlie, which I'm looking forward to. I like all the interaction that they're having, and he's actually touching her head, rubbing her head, get the sand out. I think it's cool. I think it's nice to see that they are pushing the boundaries, being like, you know, we've had Bumblebee peeing on Agent Simmons in the first one. That was kind of interaction, but now they're like physically touching them more so. I think one of the first versions that we had of them, like actually like a small character moment where they're touching Bumblebee or something was when, in the third one I think it was, when Sam kind of grabs his mouthpiece and like, missed you buddy. That was a weird scene, but this looks like they're doing it much better. I have no idea what's going on in this scene other than Bumblebee's kind of doing the Men in Black thing around inside the tunnel, half transformed so that Charlie and her friend or boyfriend don't get crushed. I like that. It's kind of cool. He's being chased by police. Maybe that's Barricade. That would be absolutely awesome because he does kind of land on the car. I have a feeling that Bumblebee wouldn't do that to a just a human cop car. Maybe he would, who knows, just to get them to stop chasing him. Obviously, he's landing on the hood, so it won't be hurting the humans inside, but that's why I still think that it's Barricade. And seeing Barricade as a 80s cop car, that just sounds awesome. Okay, so I don't know whose voice this is, but this shot is awesome. You got Shockwave, you've got, looks like Starscream, it could be Blitzwing, who knows, but maybe Thundercracker, Skywarp, a couple of the aerial bots, just Shockwave, and everyone in this shot has their originals 80s form, and it looks awesome. I am just so pleased with this shot. Yeah, it does look like we're going to get a lot of scenes, or at least a couple shots, of the war for Cybertron. I'm thinking that this might be at the beginning, who knows, but I'm still excited to see it. I still think it would be great to have like a whole movie dedicated to the war on Cybertron, but I don't know if we'll ever get that, especially if we're getting parts of it in this movie, but we'll see. John Cena delivering a line? Not so bad. And then we get this shot, we've already seen it, of Starscream / Blitzwing. It's still listed as Blitzwing on IMDb, but I still want to call him Starscream because look at him. That color scheme is Starscream. But it looks awesome. I love this transformation. We're going to talk more about this scene, this shot in the international trailer in a minute. Oh, this hologram of Optimus Prime is awesome. And he's in his original 80s form. And we get a shot of him on Cybertron with something flying overhead. It looks awesome. Optimus is freaking amazing looking. Peter Cullen's back to voice him. He sounds incredible as always. Unfortunately, he's saying the same thing that he always says, like in order to protect Earth, or in order to end this war, there's only one way to end this war. You must protect Earth and its people. Like, that's such a stereotypical line for Optimus to say. Maybe it's just for the trailer, I don't know. But he's always saying like such epic things, like in order to end this war, we have to destroy the cube. And when the whatever is written in the cosmos, they will remember our names, or whatever he said at the end of Transformers The Last Night. It was a terrible movie. Anyway, again, it was just a stereotypical line for Optimus Prime to say. But he looks amazing. We get this shot of Soundwave. Oh, man. Original 80s style. Pushing his button to let out Ravage, who looks amazing, too. Like, everything about this, the Cybertron stuff looks incredible. And I have a theory that everything that takes place in Cybertron, they're going to have their original 80s form because they don't really have to be disguised that much. You know, they're on Cybertron. That's where they live. They don't need disguises necessarily to hide from humans. And I have to I ask, why do the Transformers have these big, large buildings? Do the Transformers have jobs? Do they work in these buildings? Why are there a bunch of skyscrapers? I have never understood that about Cybertron. Like, what do the Transformers do for a living? Do they have to work? Do they need jobs? Not that that matters, but why are there so many buildings? That's the only question I really have that I want answered. Why are there so many buildings on Cybertron? Never made any sense to me. So it looks like we get a very similar scene to the 2007 version of Transformers, where Bumblebee is being attacked by all the Sector 7 people. I don't know, it's a little too similar. I do like when he puts on his face mask. That was awesome. I love the little honeycomb in his eyes. It just screams out Bumblebee. It's cool. See, more interaction. You know, Charlie is hugging Bumblebee. It's just a cute scene. There's going to be a lot of interaction like this, I hope at least. So I don't know if this character is Blitzwing or Shatter. It's hard to tell, but it's still really cool. Again, this scene is awesome. It kind of reminds me a little of Man of Steel, but we're going to talk about that in a minute with the international trailer because there's so much more in this scene. I love the fact that I think in every transformation in this movie, or at least several of them, you hear the original, that's a terrible impression of that sound effect, but the original 80s transformation sound effect. It's awesome. They've always put that in there somewhere. I think it would actually be really cool to hear it on every single transformation in this movie. Obviously with the modern sounds of metal actually clanking, not just that sound effect. but it would be really cool if they added that in. At least maybe on just Bumblebee's transformation, that'd be cool. And now we get this big fight scene between Bumblebee and Dropkick. I think this is Dropkick. I don't think this is Barricade at all. He's got the blue color to him. It's really cool. I gotta say, it does remind me a little bit more of a Michael Bay shot where we're looking from the ground level as a human tries to escape, and the Transformers basically just protecting the human. They're not fighting them necessarily. They're just like, no, stay away from the human. No, they have to get away. And I don't know, it's always bothered me. It's like, you know what? How about we just have a Transformers fight scene without a human? Obviously, we're going to get that on the Cybertron side, which those are probably going to be my favorite scenes, to be honest. Probably everyone's favorite scenes. Who knows? But I'm just tired of them always putting the human in danger during a Transformers movie. Yes, I know the humans are part of it, but do we always need the human in distress for the Autobots to save? No, we don't need that. They've always had that. The humans need to just stay out of the battle for at least one of these movies. There's been way too much human involvement in the Transformers movies. Get them out. So this scene where Bumblebee is kind of sneaking into the house, it's cute, but it's just too much. It's too cute and just too silly, I think. That I think is going to be a problem with this movie is they're trying to gear it more toward kids a little bit, but they're owning up the 80s style, which is like the older fans, the original fans, like guys my age. Or older even, because I was born in the late 80s. The show started before I was born. So, you know, I was obviously a fan of it. I was more of a fan of Beast Wars, but I still think they're kind of off target with their target audience. But it's still cool, it's still cute, and I love this trailer. Now let's get right into the international trailer because there are some more scenes in there that I really want to talk about. The international trailer starts out with, well, this character is called Blitzwing in the credits, so I'm just going to keep calling him that. He's flying overhead, and Bumblebee turns around and sees him. If you look over Bumblebee's shoulder, you do see a Humvee in the background. Maybe the humans chased him here to face off against Blitzwing. I'm assuming this is at the beginning of the movie because he has his Jeep form. I don't know for sure, obviously, but yeah, this scene is incredible. I love it. Every second of these shots is incredible. The sound effects, amazing, and the voice of Blitzwing is David Sobolov, or Sobolov. I don't know how to pronounce it, but he did actually voice a character, two characters technically, in Beast Wars, Teletron 1, and more importantly, Depth Charge, who he was one of my favorite characters. He was underutilized. He only showed up, I think, in season 3 and then died before the end of season 3, like right at the end of season 3, pretty much. But he was an awesome character. He was a manta ray. It was really cool. But I'm happy to see him come back. I think it would be really cool if they brought more Beast Wars voice actors back into these movies. That would just be awesome because let's be honest, there's a lot of fans of Beast Wars that are watching these movies. Obviously because it's a Transformers series. But I love his voice saying, "Where is Optimus Prime?" Like, is that the reason the Autobots are hunting him? Because they're just looking for Optimus Prime? He's in hiding on Mars? Who knows? That's where he was at the beginning of 2007 Transformers movie. We'll have to wait and see. And that fall for Bumblebee, oh man, that looks intense. Like, he just dropped him off of a huge cliff and he's just tumbling down. And I don't think that I don't think that Bumblebee is out, like, fainting pretty much, running out of memory or running out of power or something, and then he scans the Volkswagen Beetle. I don't think it follows immediately after that when he reaches the bottom. I don't think that's what happens because those people camping would be freaked out, running away. This is somewhere else probably. But I do love the fact that we get to see him scan it. And if you look closely near the top of the screen, you see B127. Pay attention to that. That's going to come back into it in a minute. So like I said in the trailer 2 breakdown, she basically says, "I'll work here every day for a year." And he says, "It's your kid." I still don't think it's going to be that easy, but we'll have to see. Maybe she does actually work there for a year. Maybe at that scene, she's like, "I've worked here every day for a year. I want the Beetle." Maybe it'll play out that way, I don't know. I do like this little moment between Charlie and Bumblebee where she says, "You sound like a little bumblebee." It's just a whisper, and he's like, "Oh yeah," and you see her face light up like, "Did I say something?" Like, I don't know. I'm looking forward to those scenes, those small scenes that are actually like important that we've always skipped over, that Michael Bay has always skipped over in the Transformers movies. Character development scenes that are very important between two characters. We're back on the beach. I love this scene, and I like the fact that she's like testing him. Like, we're out driving, and oh, someone's here. And he just covers himself with dirt. It's cute, maybe a little too cute, maybe a little too silly, but yeah, Bumblebee's voice box is always damaged, and someone's always trying to fix it. They do something wrong. That's kind of getting annoying, but whatever. I like the fact that it sends up a message from Optimus Prime. Oh man, that was awesome. And just hear like the glitchiness of his voice. I don't know why that just made it so much better. It just did to me. It just sounds so cool. Back on Cybertron, Optimus Prime is throwing somebody down over his shoulder. Man, that looks awesome. I don't know what character this is. Maybe it's Soundwave, maybe it's Thundercracker. It looks blue to me. We do see later in the trailer that Optimus Prime is fighting against Soundwave and Ravage, which that scene was awesome. But man, all that Cybertron stuff is going to be so sweet. I hope they don't just glaze over it really quick. I hope they spend like a good 10-15 minutes on Cybertron at the beginning of the movie. That would be the best way to open this movie, is spend 10-15 minutes, maybe even more, on Cybertron and then transfer it to Earth and be like, okay, now we're here and this is where the story is going to be taking place. And again, we get the same shot of Shatter and Dropkick, double changing into their robot form from helicopter and plane to car to robots. It's really cool. I do have to say though, as much as I'm loving the 80s design, they are still going with the somewhat similar style to the Michael Bay stuff. It's simpler. It's like a hybrid of the two, which I really love. Only on Earth. When they're on Cybertron, it looks like they're going to have their 80s form. But when they're on Earth, they've got like the Michael Bay 80s hybrid form, which is really cool. I like that idea. To keep it more grounded in reality, because yes, their forms have to move. They can't just be the typical 80s form where it just never really worked in the real world, I guess. I don't know. I like that idea. All of this we've seen before, but then we get to this scene of Bumblebee versus Blitzwing, which is awesome. Bumblebee's doing some really cool moves. But we hear also that Optimus Prime calls him B127. That was the number that I told you to remember at the top of the screen where it was saying core memory loss or whatever it was. That is Bumblebee's name, which I like that twist. Like, B127 is actually Bumblebee, and that's just what he goes by now. It was B127. That makes sense why everyone called him B, I guess. I like the little twist on that. And I do like the fact that Charlie's saying thank you. It looks like an emotional scene. It looks like she's been in the water or in the rain. I don't know, but that shot alone is way more emotional than any scene that we've had in any other Transformers movie, including the death of Sam Witwicky and Ironhide and Ratchet and all the other characters that we liked or loved in the old movies. Then we get this cool scene of Bumblebee protecting Charlie, and then you hear John Cena's character say, "Do not run," and he picks her up, runs. We get a little bit of Marvel humor when John Cena says she ran. It's okay. I guess they can earn those comedic moments. That's fine. These are the kind of things that drove me nuts in the Star Wars movies, where they kind of took that Marvel humor and were like, "Whoop, throw the lightsaber over my shoulder, oops." Kind of, I don't know, just surprising you with the humor. This one, I think, will be a little bit more lighthearted, which I'm fine with. Now, this scene where Bumblebee is being shot at by a helicopter, I am pretty sure that this is Dropkick. Do we see his death at this point? Because Bumblebee kind of throws a chain up, pulls it down. We don't know if this is actually Dropkick. I assume it's Dropkick because I don't think Bumblebee would harm humans like that, but you do see him throw the chain up, pull it down, and then blows up. You see the pieces flying everywhere. Did we just see Dropkick's death? I think so. I'd be fine with that. I mean, they gotta explain why these characters didn't show up in the other movies. I mean, if this was a Michael Bay movie, those would never be explained. Those characters might survive and then be like, you know what, we're going to bring them back in Transformers 7. Because they were back in the 80s. We forgot about them until now. Let's put them in. So again, we get this same scene of Bumblebee extended with him touching a pop can, falling over, hitting the TV, almost knocking it over, breaking the couch. And I kind of like the fact that, Charlie gets after him and he transforms back into the car. It's kind of cute, but again, that might be too cute. I don't know. I'm still excited for this movie. Obviously, I wouldn't be breaking this trailer down if I wasn't, probably. But yeah, I really am looking forward to this movie. I think it's going to be way more emotional than any Transformers movie that we've had. Way more character-driven. More focused on the Transformers characters. They're actually going to go to their roots with the 80s design, showing Cybertron the way it should be. And oh man, I am looking forward to this movie for sure. And I really do hope that this completely reboots it. Now they've been calling it a soft reboot, like, oh, they're restarting it, like it's still kind of in the same world, but it's not. It just needs to be a complete reboot, and I don't think they should have kept with the same face design of Bumblebee. They could have changed it a little bit more to get away more from the Michael Bay universe, but whatever, I'm okay with it. It's still Bumblebee. We know it as Bumblebee, and that's fine. I just really want them to completely restart, and this might be the greatest spot for them to just restart. I think a Cybertron movie might have been better, but this is still cool, and I like it. And I'm excited for this movie. I can't wait till Christmas time to see this movie. I forget exactly the date that it's coming out. I want to say December 17th, but that might be wrong. Anyway, what did you guys think of these trailers? Are you excited to see this movie? Are you not excited? Does this movie give you hope for the Transformers franchise? Do you think it's just going to restart everything? Let me know in the comments below. And like I said at the beginning, I'm going to just tell you guys a quick overview of why we haven't been uploading content. As some of you may know, Karen and I have a baby girl. She is now almost 8 months old. She's 7.5 months technically. She's crawling around. She's a handful to deal with. And I actually have the weekend with her by myself. Karen is up on a women's retreat. So it's just a lot to handle. There's not much time in the day anymore, with work, and sadly I might be losing my job soon, so I got to be on the job hunt soon. There's just a lot going on, and this summer, obviously we were busy. I was busy filming weddings, and I was working on a Star Wars short film for the Star Wars Fan Film Awards called Warhammer. You can check out the trailer in the description down below. Hopefully I'll be able to post a link to the actual short film once I can upload it to YouTube. I don't know when that'll be. It might not be till December or January. We'll see. But that was what took most of my free time, was trying to finish that in time. I actually uploaded it the day before the deadline, and there were still things that I really wanted to adjust but just didn't have the time. So that is the primary reason why we haven't been uploading content. I've just been way too busy, and unfortunately it hasn't slowed down much. I just wanted to take this time to make another video for you guys, breaking down this trailer because I thought it was an awesome trailer. I really wanted to break down the Captain Marvel trailer, but it didn't line up well with my schedule. But anyway, that is all I have for you right now. I can't guarantee another video anytime soon. Hopefully, that would be nice. I'd love to do another movie review. It's been a long time since I've done an actual review, and that is kind of the name of this channel, Married Movie Reviews. But we'll get back to it eventually. I really want to get back into YouTube and being connected with all my friends on here. I have a couple collaborations coming up soon. Those are going to be fun, so be on the lookout for that. And anyway, that's all I got for you guys. So what did you think of this trailer? Let me know in the comments below. And if you like this video, be sure to give it a big old thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and make sure you hit that bell icon next to the subscribe button so you can be notified when we upload new content. And as always, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.